The sun will shine over the path we're on. No promises, we'll know a time when troubles are gone. No guarantees that we'll win the race, or that we'll get very far. No promises, the winds won't change and calm into arms. But farther than any eye can see, long past the world should turn. Deeper than oceans that pour from the shore, my heart will forever be yours. Dreams we may have our share, seasons of light or despair. Time in its cruel and careless ways may find us elsewhere. But through it all, and what fates may come, whatever life has in store, the only thing of which I can be sure, my heart will forever be yours. No guarantees that the sun will shine over the path we're on. No promises, we'll know a time when troubles are gone. No guarantees that we'll win the race, or that we'll get very far. No promises, the winds won't change and calm into arms. But farther than any eye can see, long past the world should turn. Deeper than oceans that pour from the shore, my heart will forever be yours. may find us elsewhere. But through it all, and what fates may come, whatever life has in store, the only thing of which I can be sure, my heart will forever be yours. No guarantees that the sun will shine over the path we're on. No promises we'll know a time when troubles are gone. No that we'll win the race, or that we'll get very far. No promises the winds won't change and calm into arms. But farther than any eye can see, long past the world should turn, deeper than oceans that pour from the shore, my heart will forever be yours. Dreams we may have our share, seasons of light or despair. Time in its cruel and careless ways may find us elsewhere. But through it all, and what fates may come, whatever life has in store, the only thing of which I can be sure, my heart will forever be yours. No guarantees that the sun will shine over the path we're on. No promises we'll know a time when troubles are gone. No guarantees that we'll win the race, or that we'll get very far. No promises the winds won't change and calm into arms. past the world should turn deeper than oceans that pour from the shore, my heart will forever be yours. Dreams we may have our share, seasons of light or despair. Time in its cruel and careless ways may find us elsewhere. But through it all, and what fates may come, whatever life has in store, the only thing of which I can be sure, my heart will forever be yours. No guarantees that the sun will shine over the path we're on. No promises we'll know a time when troubles are gone. No guarantees that we'll win the race, or that we'll get very far. No promises the winds won't change and calm into arms. But farther than any eye can see, long past the world should turn deeper than j'ai faim de toi, tu sais que j'ai besoin. J'ai faim, oui j'ai faim de toi, pas d'autre pour moi.
Hello and welcome to Totally Tell Me, a weekly entertainment review podcast where we talk about movies, music, food, and fun. My name is Dominic Mercurio, and I am here live in the flesh with, look, I can even turn and look at her, Laura Weinbach.
Flesh right here. Real flesh.
Real live flesh.
Hello.
What's up?
Welcome to my humble abode.
It's like I'm
still,
still, you know what's so weird is I'm still like looking at you on the screen.
And I'm looking at you on the screen.
You know, we could actually just do the whole show where we just don't even
be in person.
Yeah, like we don't do that. We it's just like a wall, you know. We could like create a sort of Zoom box.
But that's no fun.
No, it's not.
Because we are in person and we can do that.
It's true. This is kind of crazy. And this
you can't tell that guy.
Oh yeah.
Says hey to that. He's a classic guy. He's part of the show.
No, this truly
This
is
is
the
my
first
house.
time I'm in your house for any extended period of time, certainly without a mask, in what, like 14, 15, 16 months or so?
Right. 14, 15, 16 months.
14, 15, 16, 20 months.
14, 15, 16, 7,500, 200
Minutes. Yes.
How many minutes to make up a COVID year?
Man, how many minutes was COVID? Can we figure that out?
525,600, 14, 15, 16 minutes.
Someone should figure out that math, like some mathematician out there, some physicist out there should really figure out the math of how many minutes has COVID been.
It's not over yet, so I don't know.
And
counting.
I suppose that's
How many
true.
minutes has COVID been and counting?
And counting. Hard to say. I'm going to just, this is not something I normally do, but because we're in a new setup, I'm just going to make sure that people can actually hear us. Okay, good. All right, good. But do let us know if there's any problems or anything. We're kind of like trying out a different setup, obviously, because we are live in person. But yeah, this is Totally Tell Me. We review films every 2 weeks live on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. And, we've been doing this through Zoom, usually with guests, for the better part of a year, over a year, really. And now we are maybe going to make this the way we do it.
Could be.
From here on out.
Could be.
Could be. So yeah, anyways, that is all to say, let us know if there's any sound issues or anything like that. We will try and address those as needed. But yeah, so today we're going to be reviewing Harold and Maude. It's a 1971 film. Classic, really. It's a dark comedy. And we truly just watched it, which again is a bit of
together,
which is a bit of a classic way that we used to do these podcasts when they were just podcasts, where we would watch the movie and then immediately afterwards record our thoughts for the archives, the record, the official record for the history books. But now we're going to do that with you guys. So if you are watching live, feel free to comment. We'll see your comments on Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook. And we will, rope you in as needed, or as wanted, really, I should say. Because maybe sometimes we don't want it.
Maybe we'll noose you in as wanted.
So like
to fit the theme.
Like a cowboy, or noose. Oh, yeah. Okay. I was thinking lasso. I don't know why, but something like
not
lasso.
The same thing as what I said.
But like lasso. We could also be lasso.
You could lasso.
We could lasso. We'll rope. We'll pull, push, whatever. Anyways. So that's like the spiel. We could just call it a day. I mean, I don't know. Should we just wrap it up, or?
Nope.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and chat just about, our lives, our loves, and, our hates.
Hereafters.
Our hates, our loves, our lives, anything that we truly wanted to talk about. I guess it's all to really just say, how you been?
Pretty good.
Great.
What about you?
Yeah, I mean, it's been good, I mean, I could start us off with saying, man, I did something. Not only is this isn't the first, here's what I'll say. Just back it up.
Well,
This isn't the first. Oh, sorry. Am I cutting you off?
No, I'm cutting you off.
Or are you cutting me off?
Well, I was going to say, Dominic came over to my house today. I was very excited because, I was like thinking he was going to come over, hang out. We were going to have like a hangout. And he was going to sleep over, bring the PS10, whatever number they're on. Yeah. Maybe bring a little of the VR system. Didn't do that.
Oh, I did actually. I did bring it. I brought it, but
you brought the VR?
I didn't bring the VR, but I did bring Tetris Effect. I installed it even specifically for you. Tetris Effect. You can play it outside of VR anyways.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, anyway, I thought we were going to have a whole thing, and he told me he has to bone out of here after this show. And so I got gypped. But I did ask him, how you been? What's been going on? Like, fill me in on some juice up in here. And he's like, well, I do have one thing, but I got to save it for the cast.
Oh.
So I was like, save it for the cast.
Oh, I don't know if I'll describe this as so juicy necessarily.
Right. Never is.
I mean, I gave you the private juice off air.
True.
We.
It was interesting.
Here's the thing, everybody. No. Me and Laura, we do talk off air.
On occasion.
Yeah, there's sort of like off air episodes, frankly, that we have that are undocumented, unrecorded, unarchived, and those are truly
Unhinged.
just for they're just for our ears and our ears only, unfortunately for you.
And the government's, of course.
Yeah, so I couldn't possibly bring up the stories that I just was saying, approximately 1 hour ago. But what I can bring up in a public forum sense is that this is not the only thing that is a first for me this week, as far as things I haven't done for approximately 14 months. And that is to say, yesterday, on June 5th, 2021, I attended what is known as a movie theater.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I did not want to do that for what you did that for.
And I do hear you.
You like to be in the movie theater, which is fine. I mean, I don't mind a movie theater, but I certainly I'm not like buying to like spend $20+ on a movie I'm not that interested in.
20 plus.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's how much it costs these days.
It was more like approximately $16.50.
Okay, I do not want to spend $16.50 on a movie that is like the equivalent of a Glitter or It 2.
Oh. Okay, It 2 is fucking terrible. Glitter.
We spent like over $16 for that movie, and I couldn't believe myself afterwards. I was like, what is my life coming to? I don't know.
Wait, are you saying that you wouldn't go back to the movie theater to see Glitter in theaters? Because I kind of would, actually.
First off, I guess we didn't actually see Glitter in theaters, did we?
No.
But
Glitter's
I said
not
the
a
equivalent of.
Do you mean like Cats? Because also that was very worth it to me as well.
That's a different kind of thing, but we have paid good money to see sheer and utter fecal matter.
Yeah.
And I just feel guilty when I spend that kind of moolah on a movie that simply is not in my periphery of wanting to see.
Sure.
So I'm trying to save myself for Luke Perry, so to speak.
I see. So it's sort of like this is sort of like a, holding your V card for that special someone kind of thing is what you're saying.
Well, yeah. I mean, come on. It's like, I'm not trying to just like pour money into a movie theater just to see something on a big screen.
Well, here's what I'll say. I saw A Quiet Place Part 2.
Okay, go ahead.
Which I, of course, did invite Laura to go see. Of course.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. Of course, I invited
my good friend Laura to go and see it with me.
I had to work yesterday anyway.
Okay, well, there you go. We could have rescheduled, but it's totally fine. But I did see A Quiet Place.
Away from fun.
You would have added to the fun. What are you talking about?
Well, you had to do what you had to do.
I did. So I saw A Quiet Place Part 2, and I gotta say, I had a fucking blast.
You did?
I had a total blast.
Really?
I mean, look, here's the thing. I miss movie theaters so dearly. There's two main things that have just been an absolute bummer. I mean, obviously, I'm taking out the greater context of the fact that we have lived through a pandemic and that many people have died. Obviously, that's the worst of the pandemic. But I'm just saying selfishly, for me personally, the two things that I've missed the most, and as far as, the lack of entertainment in my life, have been concerts, live concerts, and going to the old-fashioned movie theater and seeing the old movies. Popping into my seat, kicking back, relaxing, putting my feet up, looking at that big old silver screen, and seeing a projected film in front of me with the big old surround sound speakers blasting away. And, sitting in that theater yesterday, I did think to myself, this is great. This is great.
Wow.
I love this. And it sounded great, looked great. And I will say, because The Quiet Place Part 2 is kind of the first, I think, big-ish film that is now only being released in theaters, because obviously plenty of films have come out during quarantine, but they were VOD. Quiet Place Part 2 is definitely like positioning itself as like, you should come back to the theaters for this movie. And I actually think that it's a pretty good movie to go back to the theaters for, It's like a fun popcorn kind of ride. And we did A Quiet Place Part 1 on the podcast, and I had more fun with Part 2. Despite it still having, it's like still a little cheesy, and it's still like has plot holes. And it still like has these kind of moments that don't really, I don't know, add up or make sense or, whatever. But it's like just a total just fun adventure movie. You know, it actually reminded me more of those kind of old 80s action movies, like not action.
Terminator.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, yeah, just
Back to the Future.
I just feel like it's colorful and fun and not really taking itself super seriously, though at times it does, and then those are like the worst parts. But overall, it's just like a fun time. And I'll say that the opening scene is really good. Like, has nothing about it that's cheesy, and I think is a excellent opening to the film that's like a little separate from the main plot. It kind of works as like its own little short film that's an introductory to the main film. And that was so exhilarating just because it was. I don't know how much of it is the fact that it was like the first scene I was seeing in a movie theater in so long, but it was very worth going to the theaters for. So, you know, shout out to Johnny Boy, John Krasinski, the
How
director.
much did you pay?
Approximately $16.50, I do believe I said.
Mm-hmm. How much on food?
I got myself a Reese's Pieces, and Josh, he got a
Josh.
drink.
Oh, so you did not go
Beverage.
with the other friend.
I was going to go with Taylor, hit him up, but he was out of town.
Mm-hmm.
Taylor, who was on the podcast actually for a review of part 1, of which me and you did not like the movie, but Taylor liked the movie a lot more than us, I think.
I mean, I don't think I strongly disliked it, but I didn't want to pay $16.50 to see part 2.
Honestly, I
Sorry,
wouldn't
guys.
have seen this movie.
If there was anything else to see.
Yeah, if there was anything else to see, I don't know if I would have saw this movie. But I'm just desperate to go back to the theater, you know?
Right. See, I'm just not in that place.
I'm desperate.
I'm kind of down to be able to watch stuff at home. I know that's a terrible thing to hear for most filmmakers, including yourself probably. But it is nice to just be here and in my comfortable home.
But don't you just kind of
Sometimes.
miss that, like, you know, get yourself some popcorn.
I
sit
have a
in the
really good
theater.
popcorn maker.
What about just like the loudness factor and
I
perhaps
just got a really good sound bar.
okay, but what about sort of just like the largeness of the screen?
I just ordered a new TV.
You did, but it's like 40 inches.
That's
and
pretty big for me.
Okay, I mean, fair enough. Fair enough. Look, I get it. Some people love to watch their movies at home. I like to watch movies at home, but I still think that I like the balance.
Keep asking me if I like one.
Okay, I mean, don't you miss sort of like the curtains
I
opening?
just bought new curtains.
I mean, what about, don't you miss sort of like the creakiness of
I
the
don't
chair?
have any doors. I mean chairs.
You have no chairs.
I mean, I just ordered a new couch.
Okay. I think that's all there is to a movie theater.
That's
really.
all I got.
Yeah, that's all. Okay, and scene. Anyways, yeah. So that's what I've been up to. I mean,
I watched some movies recently.
you did.
Yeah. Did you know that there was a new Woody Allen movie that came out in 2020?
I did, and you know
A Rainy Day
who
in New-
stars in it?
Yeah,
A
your
1,
little-
2,
your
3,
boy.
Timothy Chalamet. I thought we were gonna say it together, but I guess
I don't do that.
we can do that though now. By the way,
We can.
live.
We could.
that's one thing. Look, I mean, I feel like shouldn't we find some things that like now we can finally do? This is
We
feeling
didn't do
like a
our
normal episode.
entrance. We talked about doing an entrance. And we
We
didn't
did
do
talk.
that.
Yeah, we talked about doing an
Shit,
entrance.
we'll do it next time.
Okay, yeah. There's a reason to tune in next time.
No, we're gonna do some segments, guys. Keep that in mind.
You should scoot in. You know,
Any-
you're like
oh, yeah.
hanging out the side
Right.
here. Yeah,
We are gonna start doing some things on this show now that we can get back on the live tip.
we're gonna start doing things.
Well, we did a fun thing today before the show, and we're like, this would have been great for the show,
It would have. Oh yeah, that's true.
but we didn't do it on the show. And then we were like, let's do this on the show at some point.
Mm-hmm.
What that was, we cannot say,
No,
but you'll see if you tune in.
yeah, that is true.
Religiously.
I think perhaps even next episode we might be ready to just test out a couple new nuggets.
Could be.
Anyways, you saw some. You
so
saw.
I watched Did you see the movie A Rainy Day in New York?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
I am curious about it though. I mean, obviously, I love Timothée Chalamet as an actor.
I have to say, I really like Timothée Chalamet as well. But then I feel like it also really depends on the director.
Well, yeah.
With him, because I did not love him in this movie. I'm sorry
Really?
to say. Yeah. I mean, which is not to say that Woody Allen's a bad director, but for whatever reason, the way that Timothy was directed in this particular context, it just didn't completely work for me. I mean, maybe it was supposed to be kind of play like, or I don't know. I
Isn't
don't know
that
if it
Woody
was
Allen,
the
though?
pandemic. No, I mean, yes, there is that element to like a lot of Woody Allen pictures, but it's not quite in the same way. Like there's a sophisticated element to a lot of his other movies, but this one I felt like it was like a step down. Hate to say it. I mean,
I'm
it was
not
entertaining.
the biggest fan of Woody Allen. I mean, I hate to say that, but it's the truth.
I mean, I like, several of his movies, but this one was like, it was fun, but it was also felt like I was watching kind of the Disney Channel version of it.
Did you see his other latest movie, Allen versus Pharaoh, on HBO Max? The deep dive look into his potential
Me Too situation.
Right, his Me Too.
No, but I would love to see that. That sounds interesting.
I mean, I hear it's actually very good and very intense.
It's on what channel?
HBO.
Hey.
That was kind of a joke. It's a documentary series.
No,
it's obviously not his movie. And in fact, he was like trying to get it taken down.
His
and he
new
was like,
picture.
yeah. I was just trying to,
I didn't
josh it a
know
little
about
bit,
that.
yeah.
I want to see that.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
It came out like a couple months ago. It's like a mini series or whatever, a mini documentary series. It's like 3 or 4 episodes, and I guess it's got a lot of interviews with what's her name? Something Farrow. Mia Farrow, sorry. His daughter
No, Mia Farrow was his wife.
Oh, yeah. Look, clearly I need to watch the documentary because I don't know shit about I know a little bit, but it's I don't really remember the details. Other than seems not good for Mr. Woody Allen.
Well, I think that I remember seeing an interview with Timothée Chalamet talking about how he was like, or there was a lot of, I don't know, questioning around the Woody Allen situation a couple of years ago, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And Timothée Chalamet was doing an interview where he was like hesitant to say anything controversial about Woody Allen because he's like, I really want to work with him. And he ended up doing that.
Oh, no.
What?
No, quite the opposite. I think maybe you were watching like an older interview, but this movie was shot actually like 3 or 4 years ago. This was shot right around the time of Call Me by Your Name. I believe it was like the one that he shot right afterwards, and it was held from being released because of all the stuff that was coming out about Woody Allen at the time. And so Amazon dropped it, or someone dropped it. Someone had like the exclusive rights to the movie. They dropped it, and then this movie didn't come out until like very recently through some other kind of like.
It was on Amazon.
It's hosted on Amazon, but it's not like presented by Amazon.
Yeah, it is.
It's an Amazon.
I think that it was like Amazon Studios was the opening thing.
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
It's A Rainy Day in New York, right?
Yeah.
A Rainy Day in New York.
I think.
Well, I'll look into it, but anyways, but he did. I remember an article basically where he was like that, like he regrets working with Woody Allen, and that he donated a bunch of money to like basically some sort of Me Too affiliated thing. Because he felt so bad about like being a part of Woody Allen's productions.
I remember an interview where he was like, I really want to work with Woody Allen or something like that. And then there was something about Me Too. God, maybe I'm saying it wrong. Shoot. There you go, people.
I mean,
it's not true.
He very much did not promote this movie. I mean, he like.
No. It was before I think he was in the movie, or I thought, like, because he was talking about wanting to work with him. And then I don't know. Maybe I'm getting it wrong then. Or maybe I'm remembering it incorrectly, but I do remember an interview where he said that he wanted to work with Woody Allen.
Right.
And that, I don't know.
So Amazon Studios did drop it. So the film was completed in 2018. Amazon Studios dropped it. They were going to release it at the time, but then a bunch of stuff came out about Woody Allen. And then some other thing called MPI Media Group and Signature Entertainment are the ones who released it. So it kind of got like,
yeah, Signature, right? That's right. But
they're pretty like they're not like some big movie company.
No, I know. But did I see it on Amazon? Yes, I did.
Oh yeah, of course you saw it on Amazon, but Amazon hosts plenty of movies that they don't produce. You know what I mean?
Right. But I mean, I for some reason I remember, maybe I thought that like how They have that thing where it's like Amazon Studios, and then it just shows like a whole thing.
I'm really thinking that they wouldn't keep that on though if they dropped it.
I feel like it was. Okay, I could be wrong.
Perhaps so. Anyway, so the movie was not great then. Sounds like.
It was okay. It was kind of fun.
Okay.
I mean, but it wasn't my favorite, and for some reason I just wasn't believing Timothée Chalamet in this movie. Like he kind of embodied what I thought he was going to be like before I ever even saw him in any movies. Like when I saw him in the preview for Calling by Your Name, I thought he seemed like a total like tween kind of whatever.
Really?
Yeah, but then when I saw him in the movie, I was like, holy shit, this kid's like legit, you know, and that I thought he was really good.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw him in The King, and I thought he was excellent in that.
Yeah.
But then I saw him in other movies like Beautiful Boy, and I was like, oh my God, this is pretty cringeworthy.
And your favorite Little Women.
Oh yeah, I did not like him in these movies. I just felt like
what's up next for or not really up next, but the latest news on his casting.
What?
Did you hear?
No.
It's gonna be Willy Wonka.
Oh God, they're doing another one of those? That's horrible.
Even as a Timothée Chalamet supporter, dreamer, you could say.
Wait, is he gonna play Willy Wonka?
He's gonna fucking play Willy Wonka.
Oh my God,
what a
that
mistake.
is putrid.
What an absolute mistake.
He's way too young.
Way too young. I mean, maybe they're gonna make it some sort of like fucking origin story or some shit.
There's just no way
but
that's
God,
gonna work.
God
well,
forbid.
actually, if it's an origin story, that might be a little more interesting. I mean, if they're just trying to remake the original, I'm just gotta say, don't do it.
Yeah, I say don't do it as well.
It's like, don't ruin a good thing.
They already did.
Oh, I know.
And don't ruin it a second
Don't
time.
ruin it again.
No, I think it's already
not gonna beat Gene Wilder.
No one ever will.
And yeah, I mean, it's just unnecessary.
Yeah, I think it is not the original plot, but I don't know if they've necessarily said what it is. I can only assume though, like he's so young. Like I can't imagine. It's got to be some sort of origin story.
But anyway, yeah, I didn't love him in that. But then I watched Cafe Society, which actually I haven't completely finished, but
what's that?
I was planning on. That's another Woody Allen movie that came out. I'm not sure what year, but it's with oh my God, why am I blanking on his name? You know, kid who was in The Social Network and Squid and the Whale. And
the guy who plays Mark Zuckerberg.
Yes.
I know. What
why am I blanking on his name? Oh my God.
Oh, Jesse Eisenberg.
Jesse Eisenberg. Thank you. And Kristen Stewart and Blake Lively and Steve Carell.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty fun.
Okay.
I think Jesse Eisenberg is a very good actor. He has never disappointed me. You know, as a young actor type. I don't know how he's probably around the same age as Timothée Chalamet. Well, he's probably a little older. No, not in real life, but like in the film. Well, he's probably a little older. When he was in Cafe Society, like versus how old Timothée Chalamet is. I mean, I don't know. He could be older, but he definitely did not irritate me. Like he doesn't have that like tween vibe, you know. I feel like I take him. But the weird thing is like Timothée Chalamet is totally. He seems like just a really good, serious actor in these other movies. So it's weird. I feel like it really depends on the director for him.
Well, he is reuniting with Luca Guadagnino for his next movie, though, which is supposed to be sort of like there's very few details, but it seems like it's going to be like a dark, twisted kind of comedy something or other.
Oh, cool.
And Timothée Chalamet is, and it's going to be his first movie that he shot in America, Luca Guadagnino. Apparently they're shooting in New York or something, or like in the state of New York. I don't think it's New York.
Wait, but did he not shoot? Where did he shoot that the show on HBO?
We Are Who We Are.
Yeah.
That was not America.
Oh, because
that
it's
was
on a base.
Yeah, it's like
whatever.
Yeah, it's like a base.
Italy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's
Right.
It's in Italy. In fact, I think almost everything he shot was in Italy. He loves Italy.
Wait, Suspiria though, doesn't that take place in like Germany?
But did he shoot?
Well, it takes place in Germany. I don't know where they actually shot.
Well, anyways, he's obviously shot, I believe, all of his films in Europe. He's never shot in America because I remember seeing like an interview where he was like talking about how he was excited to kind of use like his American director influences, I guess, in this, because he felt like he was kind of pushing those aside for other influences, and he was talking about how he was kind of going to use that for this next film. I'm forgetting the name, but it's Luca Guadagnino's next film, which he's shooting right now. But yeah, I mean, anything else in your life?
I mean,
in these days.
well, I mean, the child is coming.
Yeah, I feel like
coming.
Our last
July
episode,
8th.
July 8th, huh?
In theaters.
In theaters this July.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes, my child is coming.
I feel like that.
So I'm in the last month.
Perhaps glossed over with our last episode, considering that our last episode was barely aired. But
Right.
now that we are
Like
actually,
this one.
yeah. No, we're live. We're live.
Well,
and
I
on
know
air
we're
and
live, but we're late as well.
We are late.
Very
look,
late.
We're gonna really not try and be late or laggy anymore. But
We're figuring things out, guys.
Yeah.
This is the first of no more episodes where we will screw up as much as we did.
Someone just commented. Juju Cortez says, not to break the flow, but love the podcast. Knew it was the one for me when I heard the negative review of Perfume, and congrats on The Baby.
I did not give Perfume a negative review.
Yeah, I think we were fairly positive, but look, if you didn't like it and we did, and you're still here,
Fuck you.
I was gonna say quite the opposite of
At
fuck
least you did something right by hanging out.
But thanks, Juju Cortez, for sticking
Thank you
through
so much.
even through our disagreements.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed Perfume as a movie and as a book.
Yeah.
Um,
But Baby, do you want to speak to The Baby, Laura?
yes. Hi, child. Perhaps you'll watch this in the future.
Yeah. What's the first Totally Tell Me episode that you're going to play for your child?
Don't know.
Any favorites?
Could be a lot until that time comes.
Do you think that we
episodes
should
that
have
emerge.
The Baby on,
Maybe.
like as a guest?
Well-
At what point can what? Have you said the gender? Is there a gender
It's
reveal?
a boy.
Okay.
It's a boy.
I was gonna let you put those words in my mouth.
Yes. We're calling him a boy. He does have the male genitalia.
There we go. And that's as far as
According
you
to the
can.
ultrasound.
That's really as far as you can take it.
That's as far as I can take it.
It's up to them.
To them. Him.
But
No.
I will say,
What?
yeah. At what point? At what point can we have him on? You think month one?
Day 1, minute 1. We'll be there.
You're just gonna call me up right
all
after
guns
birth,
blazing.
like, "Hey, come on over.
I'm
It's
gonna
time
do-
for the
no,
podcast."
I want you standing by with camera in hand.
Okay. Oh, in fact,
And
should you
action.
should you just have the baby on air or what?
Could be.
Okay.
Could be. His first words will be, "Hey today."
That would be that would
it's
really,
like come out of the womb screaming that.
right. That would really carry on your lineage, I think.
Be like, so how was your birth? Hey today.
Right. We could review his birth.
I
could
will
review
say,
his birth
you
live
know
on
what?
the
Some other
podcast.
stuff I've watched recently has been our birth videos. No kidding. I'm not joking.
Really?
Yeah, Anton and I
Like
have
on
been
YouTube?
making an effort some on YouTube, yes, which are interesting. But some just like documentary style ones. Like there was this one movie it's a documentary called, I think it's called 7 Births or something like that, where it shows 7 different women's births. And you see all of it. You see the heads coming out of the vaginas and everything.
I do believe you
It's
would.
hardcore. And you see like different situations. So there's some where, they give birth in a hospital, and there's some where they give birth at home, and some who decide to take an epidural, and some who go completely natural. And
So is this to sort of just like give you a range of the
range
experiences?
of light.
Okay.
No, yeah, it's supposed to give me the range of experience, and just kind of be prepared to see like what I can expect from what I'm choosing to do, which is to give birth in a hospital. And
With or without drugs, or do you prefer
definitely
not to say?
with drugs.
Okay.
I mean, I was thinking it would be a good opportunity to just be able to like
Yeah, just-
legally get high. No.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking that I'll probably want to go with that, but I think that you really have to kind of be prepared for anything to be possible.
Right, because it could be quick, could be long.
It could be, yeah. And like, I'm trying not to get too attached to one way of it going down, because from what I've heard from other women who have recently had children or are going to have children, like a lot of them, their plan did not happen the way that they had planned. So, and sometimes, you know, some of them were really upset by it, or like they really wanted it to be a very specific way. And at the end of the day, they were just like glad that their child was healthy, you know, and that was the bottom line. Whereas like some women who end up having to have a C-section, for example, and they really wanted to give birth, not like through their vagina, like they're upset in the moment and they're like crying or whatever, but really it's like the baby is just born how it needed to be born, and it's healthy and safe at the end of the day. And so even though it's like, you know, they have to heal through having a C-section or whatever, it's still just, you know, a good thing that the baby's alive.
Has watching watching these videos calmed your nerves, or like do you feel like it's made you more nervous or
more
what?
nervous?
More
for
nervous.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have you stopped?
Okay,
Because
so
maybe
wait.
you should stop watching.
No, well, oh man, we watched this other video called Orgasmic Birth, which was definitely
a
scene. That was like women
like some women will have orgasms.
Yeah, it was about, well, it's women who have orgasms during birth. Well, not every. Okay, it showed like all these different women giving birth, and some of them didn't have orgasms, but one of them totally. I mean, multiple of them did, but the one at the end is like really hardcore, and it's kind of embarrassing to watch. Because it's like good for her that she got to have an orgasm, but I don't know if I want to look like that while I'm giving birth.
What did she look like? Was it like?
She was like, oh my God. She had, her eyes were crossed. She looked like she was like on E. I mean,
like a cartoon version of an orgasm.
she was like, yeah, like, you know, they have to breathe and stuff. Yes, exactly. She's like,
Did it start
like
like
retarded
pain
looking.
and then it became pleasure, or what?
no, it was like pleasure the whole time, I guess.
Wow.
At least from what they showed. This was a movie that was like highly, seemingly against hospital births. Very biased, and just didn't really. They might have shown one hospital birth and made it look really bad. But I feel like, yeah, they were very much in favor of like, you know, being in your own environment and, you know, being surrounded by women who were like intuitive as opposed to, you know, sterile, uptight doctors, which like as if all doctors are uptight and, you know, like not intuitive or not compassionate or not, you know, able to, or like sympathetic or whatever. I mean, they're not mutually exclusive, you know what I mean? So anyway, I thought it was interesting, but it was also kind of funny and entertaining to watch women who were supposedly having orgasms during birth.
Right. Are you going to film the birth?
I don't know.
I mean, I guess I don't have to ask you all these on the podcast.
I don't know if I
you
want.
would rather not.
No, it's fine. There's a lot of, you know, you can ask questions, but I don't know the answers to all of them.
All I'm saying is, you know, feel free to say, you know, no comment if.
No, I don't know if we're gonna. I mean, I really just have to see how I feel because, yeah, after watching these videos, like it is just so hardcore.
I mean, yeah.
Just to like see it coming out, you know.
Yeah.
That's real right there.
My mom, I asked because my mom just today texted me because they've been cleaning out the garage. Their garage was like full of stuff. So they've been slowly getting rid of stuff. And she texted me that they found some old tapes. And she goes, one's marked as Alex's birth. Sounds like a great Father's Day viewing, lol. So I very well might be seeing Alex's birth on any given Sunday in this month of June.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
I
and you
think
could too, is what I'm saying. I mean, I'm saying, like, basically, you know,
we could have that for Father's Day.
Yeah, if you wanted to invite me over on any given Sunday in July, perhaps,
we could review that for Totally Telling.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, exactly.
No, but I just I don't know. What was I gonna say? Yeah, it's you know, one thing I do know is this. I do not want to have to wear the hideous hospital gowns that they give you at the hospital. So I'm really trying to find like a good outfit to give birth in.
Wait, but what if you're just not in the outfit and then all of a sudden your water breaks and you're like, oh, fuck, I gotta go right now? Are you going to be like, but hold 1 second.
That's
let me
not
get on
how
my,
it works in
my
real
dress.
life, apparently. Like the whole, oh my God, my water broke thing, that's very rare, apparently. Like that doesn't often happen. It's only in the movies.
So
I mean, it happens a little bit. I mean, on occasion, but usually you go into labor first, apparently, or like it's better if you go into labor first and then your water breaks. Because if your water breaks, then it could be really dangerous for the baby. Well, it's not that dangerous for the baby, but you're like on a real time crunch to like have the baby because it's not being protected by the amniotic fluid. But
right, okay.
Point being,
I guess I'm learning some.
Yeah, I learned a lot from this experience.
I only know movies, really.
I only knew movies too. But yeah, I do know that they had really good outfits, like in like between like 1500 and 1700, like AD. And I want one of those outfits.
Wow.
Well, 15 and 1800, I would say.
So what, you're trying to like track some of these down on?
Yeah,
Etsy
I
or
wish
something?
they could just make, okay, for those of you who've watched Outlander, when Jamie's sister gives birth, I love what she's wearing. It's basically just a simple white gauze gown, very loose, very comfortable fitting. It has like a tie around the neck. And so it's just really, it's convenient and it seems like an elegant thing to wear. I mean, it's just, why do hospitals have to go out of their way to create the ugliest possible gown imaginable?
Even watching this movie, it was kind of interesting to see like just how, I mean, you see it a lot, but it's just interesting that there used to be more of like a real outfit for nurses and doctors and stuff.
Totally.
Like in this movie in Harold and Maude, like when they're wearing those little caps or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I'm just thinking to myself like,
no, like uniform costumes were like so much better before today's times.
Right.
Or, you know, before like the 80s basically. Or, well, before the 70s, I would say. Like pre-70s, there were pretty good outfits for things. And then it just all went downhill. I don't know why.
So you're going to throw on your birthing dress.
I'm trying to get one.
What about that little tiara? Is that going to, or, you know,
the one
your
that I
crown?
wore for,
yeah, the crown.
I don't think I can wear that during the birth.
Oh, okay.
It's
And
a
you
little
could.
too-
I mean, you could.
I might.
Yeah, you could.
I don't know. I do
What
want to
about
look
baby's
good, though.
first movie? Have you thought about that?
Well, I don't know about their first movie, but I'm excited to show them all the weird stuff that I grew up watching. Like Strange Tales and I don't know. I watched a lot of weird dark horror movies as a kid, and I feel like it was a good thing.
But I guess there's just going to come a day here where, you know,
maybe the first movie will be
yeah,
the 1985 version of the like made for TV live action version of Alice in Wonderland. Could be.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could scare him, depending on what age.
Have you seen it?
You're talking about the live action one,
From 1985.
like with puppets.
Not really puppets. It's like with actors dressed as like animals and stuff.
Oh, maybe I have. I've seen many versions of Alice in Wonderland because I used to love just that story, and so I would, as a kid, I did watch actually many versions, but I don't know. Maybe
I guess
didn't
the
see that.
Jabberwocky is a puppet, but like most of the other characters are like actors.
I was thinking of what is his name? Like Sphinxinator,
What?
Sphinkenmeyer,
Jan Svankmajer.
Sphincter. Jan
Oh,
Sphincter.
that like the stop motion. No, that's not from the 80s. That's from the 90s, I think. Actually.
Oh, okay. Well,
Maybe
look,
early
I mean,
2000s.
what do you want from me?
The one that's just called Alice. But no, I think that's a little too slow for the child. No, the 1985 one.
What about like Barney?
Hells no.
What about like
Hells
Powerpuff
no. My
Girls?
child will not be allowed to watch that. I mean, maybe
SpongeBob?
Powerpuff. Sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I like SpongeBob. I mean,
No, that's fine, but I'm not gonna like. I don't want them to watch stupid shit.
what about that? What's that big thing right now? Maybe it's not even big anymore.
You mean Pokemon?
The pig one, Peppa the Pig. Peppa
Don't
the Pig.
know that. I probably should, but I don't.
Well, it's all the rage, I think, with newborns.
Really?
I'm just kidding. I mean, I don't know. I think it's big with very young kids, but
I don't know it.
newborns, I don't think they have much of a vote. They don't get to vote
Yeah.
until
No.
they turn 2.
Yeah. I don't
Anyways.
know, but I do think it will be important to like just really just pour a bunch of information into their brain that I feel is good. Like
You really
I mean,
get to
cinema
mold.
wise.
You really just get to mold
I know it's gonna be fun. I'm excited.
your
I'm
new
excited.
project.
I got all these cute things for the baby at this point. I mean, like, so I had a baby shower, which was fun. up here in the Bay Area. For those in LA, don't worry, it's coming.
I showered you with one gift. Did you get my gift?
I haven't gotten it yet. So I saw what you got, and it's this amazing white ship kite.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a kite that's a ship, like a pirate ship. And it's really cool. And you know what's funny is my brother was going to get that for me. He's like, "Oh, I got you something from your registry." And I thought, because I thought he was going to get me that because I thought he would think it was really cool. And he's like, "I saw that and I did think it looked really cool, but I was like, what's a baby going to do with a kite?" And I'm like, "Dude, it's not to be used as a kite. It's a decorative piece for their nursery, Mormon."
And I will say, I actually remember I guess as a baby or maybe a very young child, things like hanging in my room and enjoying looking at them.
Yeah, you enjoy as a baby things
enjoy.
hanging in your room, looking at them.
You just look up and enjoy.
He's like, "Well, I didn't know you were going to like hang it in the room." I was like, "Of course I'm going to hang it in the room." He's like, "I mean, I thought it would be a cool thing to fly as a kite." I was like, "Well, one can fly it as a kite later on in life, but I mean, dude, it's all about hanging stuff in their room." Did you know I was going to hang it in the room?
Oh, I figured it. Yeah, I mean, I figured it was like
exactly.
Perhaps
See?
like
You're
not,
smart.
perhaps like not just above the crib because I assume that's going to be reserved for more of like a mobile.
It is. I actually have some mobiles on the list. Did you see the mobiles?
I did. Yeah, they looked great too.
They are good.
But I figured this kite would just be like mobile adjacent.
It would be mobile adjacent. It's
Right.
going to be more like in the corner.
Corner, that's good enough.
But it's definitely a good piece to have in the room as a decorative item that will be noticed and observed by many, including the baby.
And you know what? Sometimes these are just equally for the mother.
They are.
And
I
the
would
father.
have to say that most of the stuff on the baby shower list was for me.
Right.
Like
it adds to the experience,
Right. No, there's so many fun things I'm really excited about. Like the dinosaur, like the brass dinosaur knobs that I put on. I don't know if you saw those, but I got these so there's pewter ones and brass ones, but they're like these knobs that go like on drawer. You can put them on drawers and they're like in the shape of dinosaurs.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. I got them.
You got them.
I got other stuff too. I got all kinds of cute things. The child is going to look like an elven gnome.
Of course.
And his clothes are going to look like that too.
I cannot.
I think.
I can't wait, honestly.
At least for his newborn stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, this kid will be decorated.
He will be a well-decorated child.
Should we get to this movie or what?
We can.
We could. Yeah, I mean.
Sure.
I guess that was
Is there
more or less
anything else?
I mean, perhaps there will be, and I'm certainly happy to take a sidetrack moment.
All right.
At any moment that you have something. I mean, feel free, but perhaps we could begin talking. I didn't really have a chance to look up too many details, so I'm vamping, as the pros say, right now as I pull up a Wikipedia article.
You mean about the 1971 American coming-of-age dark comedy drama
Harold
titled
and
Harold and Maude?
That's right, yeah. It's
Directed by Hal Ashby
and released by Paramount Pictures. It incorporates elements of dark humor and existentialist drama. You know that one. Well, need I say more? It's 1971 dark comedy existential drama.
I mean, this is a well-loved cult film
Yeah.
by many, but I had never seen it until today. This is
Well,
just one of
I
those
hadn't
movies.
seen it either until today.
So there you go.
Somehow we both missed it, which is a little surprising, just given, I think, its importance in specifically in the circles of films and artists that I think that we kind of gravitate towards.
Right.
It's a pretty beloved dark comedy, which is very much my thing. And kind of like a indie, I don't know, I guess it's like,
Well, it's a cult.
yeah, cult classic, I suppose you could say. But yeah, Harold and Maude, if you don't know, it's about a young boy who is obsessed with death, who his name's Harold, and he meets an older woman named Maude, and they sort of find they begin to bond, I think, over. They both are attending funerals, and that's how they meet, and they kind of bond, I think, over this different way that they're looking at life and death. And yeah, so it came out in 1971. Obviously, I actually don't know how well it did at the time, but certainly over the years, it's become quite well known. And it was shot in San Francisco, which I guess I vaguely knew but kind of forgot until a couple landmarks kind of came in. Not even really big landmarks, but landmarks, if you live in San Francisco, you would know them. But anyways, yeah, Harold and Maude. What did you think, Laura?
It was cute. I liked it. I mean, yeah, that was nice. It was a nice movie. I liked it. That was good. Pretty good. What about you?
I thought it was great. Yeah, I mean, I thought there was the humor was very much, I think, humor that I like. I think right out the gate, I was intrigued by Harold as a character.
Yeah, I thought
there's
that
some
was
great setups.
He was a good actor.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, actually, I thought his acting especially was really good.
Yeah, he really just did that well.
he has the look for one.
Right.
He's he's like a Timothy Chalamet of the 70s, I suppose you could say.
Kinda.
No, I just mean he's got that youthful charm. He's just got that he's got that je ne sais quoi.
He reminded me of Malcolm McDowell, kind of.
So who is
from Clockwork Orange?
Oh, yeah. I guess since you say that.
Well, his eyes really looked like that.
Yeah, he's got them big old bug eyes.
Yeah.
Same with who else is? There's that show Sex Education on Netflix. He looked a lot like the main dude in there.
I haven't seen that.
I mean, it's kind of no.
I think I saw the, the picture for it or whatever.
But yeah, I mean, back to Harold and Maude though. I feel like there's some absurd kind of elements that go beyond, I think, reality. That were kind of hard to gauge if we're supposed to
believe.
Believe some of the stuff that's happening.
Right.
So that was kind of I guess you're supposed to read it as just quirky and fun, but I felt at times it sometimes veered into I'm not really sure if I was supposed to think that was funnier or something, or think that was wilder. But I also feel there was pretty shocking moments in this movie as a 2021 film that I feel maybe there's this element of the fact that this is now 50 years old. 50 years ago, I would assume that a lot of the content in this movie would have been really shocking. For one, just having a child, or he's not really a child, but having a young kid in various endangered situations, pretty brutal situations. And then what other things that I guess we'll just get to in the spoilers, but I could see how this movie would have rocked some boats for its time. I mean, do you agree?
I was just reading that it had a lot of mixed reviews, and I think that it did upset some critics in a controversial way.
I would assume so. I mean,
Roger Ebert, in a review dated January 1st, gave the film a 1.5 out of 4 stars. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
it's kind of some critics were offended by the film's dark humor. That I'm reading about it.
Well, I think it's pretty dark.
But yeah, I mean, I would imagine for its time, it would have definitely been considered pretty edgy. So.
Yeah, I think it stands out. I mean, I was trying to think of other movies that were coming out around this time, and I think actually Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory also came out in 71, right? Or 70 or 71, right around then.
Not sure exactly.
Really? But I feel like that also had a dark comedic element to it,
yeah.
But not as
yeah, right.
overtly.
1971.
I guess I was just trying to think of other movies in this time to relate, because Willy Wonka I think was probably a little more accepted.
I feel like Willy Wonka kind of slips in the creepy,
Yeah.
and is able to sort of hide behind
Yeah.
The non-creepy.
Yeah, because there's a lot of that movie that is not very dark. But
Right.
then there's these moments that are very, very dark.
Right, and you're kind of like, where'd that come from? But then you're
Yeah.
also like walking away from it going, maybe that part didn't even really happen.
But I also
You know
just
what I
feel
mean?
like it kind of places this film a little bit, because I oddly enough was just thinking of Willy Wonka as I was watching it. I don't know if it's just because I was hearing that Willy Wonka news, but it kind of places the movie in a way, because it's like, I think there's just something about early 70s films that people were kind of like, there's kind of these like bizarre things that happen in them that aren't really explained, or are pretty big tonal shifts. I think there was just a lot of experimentation with just like large tonal shifts or something. You know what I mean? Like, because Willy Wonka also had these pretty jarring tonal shifts, and it was like never really addressed. It's just kind of like,
But I don't know if
there it
this
is.
movie is like tonally shifting that much. I feel like it just it kicks off in a pretty like dark way, and it doesn't ever really come out of that. It kind of stays there and wanders through that tone in various aspects of it. You know what I mean?
I guess
throughout the
that's
film.
true. The ways that I felt like it was shifting tone, I think, were more when it was shifting out of dark comedy into being
More of like just a romance.
yeah, like kind of a little more serious drama, I suppose. Because then it was like, I don't know, it was kind of, it felt weird a little bit.
It's always weird, but it's like, I think it is pretty weird from the beginning. You know what I mean? Like, to establish a tone of weirdness from the beginning enables you to kind of like do whatever. You know what I mean? Like, so when it goes into, I feel like the more dramatic, serious scenes, it is weird, but that's okay because it was already weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We have a comment from Jared Floyd who said the tunnel scene in Willy Wonka was bizarre. Did you guys ever read the Roald Dahl books?
Yes, I was
did you
obsessed with him as a kid.
Did you read Willy Wonka or?
And I read one of his adult books, which is called Kiss Kiss, a collection of short adult stories. Is really weird and dark. Well, I read it when I was like in junior high school, so to me, I remember that book being really creepy and scary, and it was like, yeah, not really for kids.
Sure. Yeah, I remember reading The Witches and a couple others. James and the Giant Peach, I think I read and really loved.
I loved The Twits. Did you ever read The Twits?
I think I did. Yeah.
That was my favorite.
Yeah, I did love him
As a kid.
as well. And yeah, the tunnel scene in Willy Wonka. I don't even think that's in the book though, right? Isn't that just something that they added?
I don't remember
For the movie.
I mean, probably.
Because that was a scene that I love that sequence, and that sequence was kind of like, I don't know, very very much etched in my memory as a kid. I loved it. But yeah, I think that was like something that was added by that director for the movie. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyways, Harold and Maude though, dark, and I think some of those intro sequences, even now, I was a bit shocked by some of the. I don't know. I guess I'm trying to like dance around. I don't want to spoil anything. I know this is like a 50-year-old movie, but and a cult classic, really. So I think many people have seen it, but I don't know. Maybe we should get into spoilers, or did you have more? To say?
Yeah.
Actually, let's
I'll
talk
just-
briefly about the music, because that's not really a spoiler.
Oh, sure.
What did you think of the music?
It was good. Cat Stevens, sure. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it a lot. I liked the music a lot. Loved it actually, and I really liked
liked
one of my favorite scenes actually, I think, was when Maude was playing the piano. I don't think that's really a spoiler.
Oh, yeah.
I really loved that scene. I felt like that was sort of a turning point for the characters, and I love a good, scene that revolves around music that's a turning point for characters. I feel like that can really kind of raise the stakes in some sort of abstract emotional way that's kind of hard to describe, but like sometimes I think when you throw a musical moment into things and it feels earned and deserved, it can really elevate stuff. And for me, I don't know, I was really feeling that scene. Like I felt like it was fun and really kind of showed who Maude was, especially and it even showed Harold too, and kind of his
Well, his blossoming as a character.
Yeah. Like I think there's a
Coming
shift there. Yeah.
I really liked just like the montage sequences in this movie and how they were executed.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just felt, well directed, and it wasn't like cheesy to me really.
Mm-hmm.
The montages, which they can be. Like montage sequences I feel like are in danger of that sometimes, even though I enjoy them a lot usually. But I just felt like, yeah, it was just good. I mean, it was a good movie.
Was this?
It was well directed.
Was this based on a? Oh, it was published as a novel in the same year.
Yeah, and apparently, yeah.
I think. Well, that's interesting that it's based on a novel that came out the same year. Because what does that imply? Like, what was written first? They must have been like, were they being written at the same time?
Oh, right. I don't know.
All it says on Wikipedia, because Jared, I see your comment. I feel like Jared says, I feel like a couple of those 70s authors put a lot of psychedelic metaphors in their stories. And yeah, like, I guess there's some quasi psychedelic feeling stuff in this movie. It's not like overtly or anything, but it's that vibe of like, and then this, and then that.
Well, it's like the 60s.
Yeah, but
Also,
I mean, the
like
70s was coming right off of the late 60s where that was all the rage.
No, I know. I mean, I feel like that was just in the ether,
Right. Well, anyways, I don't know. It's hard to say, I guess, if this movie was written before or after. It seems like they were written around the same time. Carwin Davey says, "Holy shivers, that's old." Karen, sorry.
I don't know.
Almost as old as me. Well, look, I mean,
let's get to spoilers.
Yeah.
Let's get to spoilers. I have some stuff.
Okay. Yeah. So, if you have not seen Harold and Maude, I forgot to even put up our little thing here. If you've not seen Harold and Maude, and you care about spoilers, you should tune out because we are going to discuss the whole plot of the movie, including the ending and all of that, all of it. So, if you're tuning out, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, whatever you were doing. And if you're still here, great.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks. I mean, thanks for continuing, I suppose.
Yeah.
But anyways, with that in mind, how do you want to kick that off?
Well, just I wanted to I'm looking at this review that Roger Ebert gave, and he says he gave the film 1.5 out of 4 stars. He's saying, and so what we get finally is a movie of attitudes. Harold is death, Maude life, and they managed to make the two seem so similar that life's hardly worth the extra bother. Well, I guess just to compound that sentiment, even though I think what's wrong with that? I think that in a lot of ways, Harold is life and Maude is death. Because like Maude has lived this life, like she's kind of experienced life and she's like closer to death. And Harold is like very much not experienced in life, and he's so embodies that adolescent, obsession with death that it's like very much in the thick of the beginning of life, the beginnings of life to me. And like, it's like cliche to a point, you know what I mean? But at the same time, the way that they're expressing that cliche is pretty fresh and fun. I mean, for its time, at least, like just with him acting out all these suicide scenarios, and that's really entertaining because you're like, what's he going to do next?
Yeah, it is entertaining. But that was obviously very much what I was kind of dancing around it in our non-spoiler section because I didn't really know about that, so I didn't want to spoil it for others if they didn't know. But yeah, I mean, Harold, honestly, the opening scene is a fake suicide attempt in which he hangs himself. And then from there on out, there's many more scenes of Harold faking his own death in front of his mother and sort of in an attempt of, at first I think you're trying to like figure out why he's doing it. And to me, at first I thought it was like, oh, is he trying to get her attention or whatever? But it's actually more that like, I don't know, like, I think he just wants someone to understand him. I think it's more just about he wishes that someone would like share this with him in some sort of way.
Well, I think he does want to. He kind of explains it at the end when he talks about how he has died before or whatever.
Oh, right, yeah.
And he his chemistry teacher told his mom that he had died, and she was devastated. And from that point on, he like decided that he liked death more than life, because maybe that was the first time he ever really felt like his mother truly cared about him.
Right.
And she seems to kind of be very, you know, removed and detached from him emotionally.
Yeah. And doesn't understand him at all, which is very clear when like she's trying to set him up on these dates and stuff. And it's like,
so he feels like unseen by her and like maybe unloved. And like Maude, you know, she pulls him out of that shell of like feeling invisible. And in, you know, maybe it is in a weird way him searching for a mother figure, you know, like what was it? Wait, did they say that in the movie where he was like,
there was a mention when he was going to those psychiatrists after
Right.
he announced that he was going to get married to Maude,
Right.
where one of the psychiatrists was like, oh, you know, there's a common thing amongst boys where subconsciously maybe they want to sleep with their mother, but it's especially weird that you want to sleep with your grandmother.
Right. But there might be like some small element of truth to that, because it's like he's basically vying for his mother's true attention, because she never really sees him, you know, despite all these extravagant like displays. And Maude sees him without any extravagant display. You know what I mean? But she sees all these things, you know, and she brings out like his ability to see life and, you know, see the color in life and see like the beauty of just being or whatever. And he falls in love with her.
Which is yet again, like, I feel like there's two aspects of this movie that I think for its time, I don't know. It was pretty shocking to me that this movie came out in the 70s and was dealing with certain things like.
Well, yeah, like to have a kid be with the woman, like for there to be like the insinuation of there being a romantic relationship between these two. I mean, like there is a scene where they wake up in bed together,
right?
And I'm like,
half
did they
naked.
Just fuck?
Yeah, well, it's very much implied that they had sex.
And so that's kind of definitely a bit risque.
Yeah, not only that, but I also just feel like the suicide attempts are more than just like the initial hanging is already a little shocking, but I actually feel like they get pretty graphic. Like the one where he's in the tub and like blood is splattered all over the walls. I feel like that's pretty, I mean, for its time, I feel like that's quite a bit to
you mean like
put
the fake suicide when his mom walks in and she's like, this is it.
This is too much. This is finally just too much for me.
But it's like fake though.
No, I know it's fake, but I guess like the idea of a young boy like committing suicide that violently, I think being in a movie, I think that would upset some people like 50 years ago. I think that would.
It's funny because I kind of, that thought crossed my mind, but then I was like, you know, death and horror has been like a mainstream genre for so long and has been, I mean, just the idea of like murder and gore and all that kind of stuff has been a form of entertainment, you know what I mean? Like for the masses for decades. And
right.
And so I didn't think it was like that, you know, shocking to see a scene like that was actually clearly intended to be like, you know, comedic and fake, you know? If it would have been like framed and through the lens of being like real, or like as if this was supposed to be taken as a real thing that happened in the movie, as you know what I mean, then that would have been different.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, there was a couple of them. I don't know about you, but I did think I don't know. I mean, I guess it wasn't really going to make sense. I thought it was just going to end up being a dream sequence, but it felt like a couple of them were maybe actually going to be real. Mm-hmm. Like for me, when he took the gun out and was like loading it bullet by bullet, and then he pointed at the mom, I was like, wait, is he like actually going to shoot his mom? Because I had no idea what the plot was.
Right.
For one, I thought maybe he was going to shoot his mom, and then he puts it on himself, and I'm like, but weren't those like real bullets? I feel like that was the first one for me where it was like the magic trick of it was I didn't understand how he would make it fake.
Right.
And so I was like, that was the first one where it was starting to get a little confusing to me. Like, oh, okay, so this is just kind of beyond reality, because how could he have faked that, something like that? You know, like he must have had like a blood pack for his head and then like fake bullets. I felt like
maybe
it got so extreme that it was getting a little confusing to me. Mm-hmm. like he walks over and sits down and then he chops off his hand and all of a sudden his hand is fake, but it's like, but how would he have, you know what I mean? Like there was sort of these elements where you kind of just have to go with it.
Well, I think that it's like maybe a lot of it is some fantasy stuff going on. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Right. But then, I don't know, but people are reacting to it. Like,
right. That's true.
The mom obviously is desensitized to it, but then you get these outside perspectives with the dates and they're like very disturbed and running out of the room and all this.
Right.
Jared commented, fake suicide is also a big thing in Ginger Snaps, which is a coming of age movie. Well, never seen it. But I think it's more specific about kids. I think that was the element that I think is maybe a little more shocking than it may have otherwise have been, because I feel like kids usually are a little off limits when it comes to extreme violent acts in movies until more recently. And now I feel like kids
what
are
about
very,
like The Bad Seed or?
But nothing extremely violent happens to her.
I don't know. Does it? I don't know.
No, absolutely not. I think it's, in fact, that movie.
No, there were definitely like, I remember movies from the
her.
70s. There was a movie with Brooke Shields. Forget what it's called, but she's like a child in it. And wait, was it Brooke Shields? Oh no, Jodie Foster. I forgot what it was called and I forget what happens, but like there's some stuff that happens. And then I guess it doesn't happen. I don't know if it happens to the kid, but what about like The Omen? I mean,
but yeah, again, what happens to the kid though? Because
I
I feel like the
don't know.
kid has been a source of evil for sure.
That's true.
But like, it's pretty rare until I think maybe more like 90s is when it started to happen a little more, where, you know, the kids would die, and even less so violently die.
I feel like there's I mean, I'm blanking right now, but
Like, I mean, I don't want to spoil a recent film that we both loved that involved a kid dying in a pretty shockingly violent way.
I know.
But that was shocking even still. Like even now,
well,
because
yeah,
you just
but
don't
it's
expect
also
that.
like I think it really is about like the tone and the execution. You know what I mean? It's not just like there being blood and there being a kid. It's like how, with what kind of impact and force is being displayed.
Well, anyways.
Anyway.
Let's what else is there to talk
It's
about
neither here on all
in
that.
this spoiler? Should we talk about the ending maybe?
Sure.
I think maybe just to briefly summarize, Maude in the end reveals that she has taken some pills, I guess, or drugs of some kind that are going to kill her. We don't really know. She doesn't say like specifics, right? Mm-hmm. But we know that she takes these pills and she's planning to die in a matter of hours. And she's kind of like revealing this information to Harold that very night. So then Harold, and this is right after Harold has kind of professed his love for her. So he rushes her to the hospital, and the hospital attempts to save her, but she dies. And then Harold, at the same time that we're seeing all that, Harold is now like driving off into the distance, and we're not really sure what he's doing. And then his car flies off the edge of a cliff. But then the last kind of reveal is that he, I guess, somehow jumped out of the car at the last second. And then he kind of like plays the banjo as he walks off. The banjo being something that Maude gave him and was kind of like giving some importance to. What did you think of the ending?
It was cool. I don't know. It makes you wonder if it's like definitely makes you wonder what's in his head and what's not, because
do you feel like you interpreted that maybe he did die?
No, I think maybe he just never was in the car doing all that. Like maybe it was all just like a fantasy or something like that. You know what I mean? Like he wanted to do those things, but he didn't actually. Well, it's one thing that's interesting is like when they were in the car when Maude was like driving all recklessly and stuff. I mean, many times. Mm-hmm. If you look at Harold's expressions, he's like scared of dying. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
well, I don't think he really wants to die. I don't think that's ever really been part of his thing.
But he thinks he does. You know what I mean? I think that he thinks he wants to die.
Right.
But like he is scared of death. You know what I mean? And
but I think you were onto
but he
something.
likes to fantasize about death. You know?
Yeah, but I think you already described it pretty well, which is I think really what he loves about death is seeing someone. I don't know, like seeing his mom care about him. Like it sounds like, like all he really wants is someone to care about him.
Maybe.
And maybe he's like lacked that or something. And
Well, he also probably is disillusioned and disenchanted with like what he thinks life is. He hasn't really seen like, I mean, all he sees is just the very sort of superficial aspects of life, you know, and kind of like how superficial other people seem to be.
right.
And so he thinks that he doesn't want any of that. But, you know, when it comes down to it, he's afraid to die, you know, because he hasn't really lived. And then, you know, Maude comes along and is like this life force in a way, but she's like going to die soon. And, well, I don't know.
And she also is sort of living life to the fullest
Right.
in a sort of
because
way.
she knows she's going to die maybe or whatever.
Yeah, there's also some unanswered questions.
Well, it's like, yeah, like, why is she not getting arrested? I mean, it definitely makes you think that none of this is real.
Well, again, that's kind of what I was insinuating when we were talking about, like, it's hard to figure out what the line is for reality in this movie because, again, yeah, it's like, it's unrealistic, obviously, that she's not getting arrested for, like, all these crazy things that she's doing, especially with cars. She's stealing a car every other scene. And it certainly is, like, I get that it's for kind of the comedy of it all, and I think overall the tone is fairly consistent with its absurdity, but then it also kind of asks you to place these characters in a reality, which it seems like the movie wants to place this in, you know, true reality. So some of that stuff was a little confusing to me because it does kind of take you out of reality. Because, like, yeah, I mean, there's no way. I mean, we're talking like felonies and, you know, car thefts, and she's like stealing a police car, and it never really gets explained. But again, it's like, I don't really think that's the movie.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's like on the movie.
I don't think we're supposed to like question stuff like that.
Yeah,
we're just supposed to kind of take it for what it is.
Yeah. I think
what?
favorite scene though is that scene where he is describing. I guess also in the piano scene because I already said that too. But
Yeah.
I really liked the scene where he was describing his death or whatever when his mom, you know, is learning of his death, and then he's saying like, that was the first time I died.
Yeah.
I feel like his acting in that scene was really good.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because it was one of the few times that he was actually talking for an extended period of time. Because he has he's not really talking a ton in the movie. He talks here and there for short bits.
Right.
But that was kind of like his monologue moment, I suppose. But I felt like it was really well done. Like, I feel like he really was that character, and I felt bad for him, you know?
Well, I thought he was good throughout the whole thing, to be honest.
He
like,
was.
His execution was like very deadpan and really, you know, just not cheesy,
Yeah.
which it could have been, but he just really made it work, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And he just had such a cool vibe, really.
Yeah. Final thoughts?
Well, I decided to just do a quick little Google search on a Harold and Maude analysis and see what people are saying. Just to see what it has, how people like generally receive this thing. I don't know.
I think our analysis is, you know, as valid as any.
Right.
Certainly, though, you know, if you're listening to this after the fact, or I guess if you're here live, of course, comment if you've seen the movie. But even if you're listening to this later, I mean, you can always write in and we'll read it on the next episode with your thoughts. TotallyTellMe@gmail.com. You can reach us. We did get another comment from Juju Cortez, who says, "What did you two think of the soundtrack?"
It's good.
Yeah, we briefly talked about that, but I think to expand, like, yeah, I mean, it's all oh fuck,
Cat
what's his name?
Stevens.
Yeah, Cat Stevens. I was forgetting his name. It's all his songs. Do you know if there was original songs for this movie though? Because it seemed like maybe some of them, I don't know, like did he
Not
do?
sure.
I don't know, but either way, I thought the
were
music
included
was great. It fit the vibe really well. Yeah, I mean, it's like singer-songwriter, 60s style. I mean, what's not to love? For me, I love that style, so it's kind of like, it's an easy win.
Yeah.
If you're a 60s singer-songwriter, it's hard for me to not like it.
Mm-hmm.
Juju Cortez says he did make 2 original songs. Cool.
For the movie.
Yeah. Do you happen to know what the titles are? Or?
I'm guessing one of them was the song that was sung at the piano by Maude. I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
And then
I loved that one. That was probably my favorite of the songs. Maybe it's just because they played it multiple times, and it obviously has more relevance to the story and everything. But I thought that song was really cool. Oh, and I liked, again, this was like another moment where they're kind of hinting at the surrealness of it all. But I liked that in that scene, she just like gets up and the piano just continues.
right.
And she just like dances around and the piano is still playing somehow. And then she just like hops back on for the final note.
Right.
Like there was kind of these moments that I think the whole time is hinting that this is not, that they're playing around with reality,
Right.
It's a heightened reality of some kind.
Yeah.
If you want to sing out, sing out. Juju Cortez
I'm curious which songs were written for the movie and not.
Well, it sounds like that is one Juju Cortez is
Okay.
saying. And then that they forgot the other one, but I don't know. I don't know either. But yeah, I think maybe we should wrap it up pretty soon here.
All right. Sorry. I'm just curious. Now I'm looking. Okay. I'll stop looking. I should have done it beforehand, but
yeah, Harold and Maude.
Good movie. Glad we finally watched it.
Yeah. This is a surprising. I don't know. Like watching it is surprising that I haven't seen this movie.
Right.
It does seem like something that I very much should have seen approximately 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad I saw it now.
Yeah.
And it's really good. And I think certainly I don't know, this feels like an indie classic. Like if you like if you're into modern indie films, I feel like this is sort of the grandfather of those, I feel like it holds a lot of threads to today's films.
Yeah, I'm sure that it has a huge influence on a lot of different filmmakers out there or people.
Absolutely. Todd, what's his name?
Solondz?
Yeah, Todd Solondz. I feel like this felt like Todd Solondz-esque in a way. Just that dark, dry comedy.
Could be.
Others and more. Todd Solondz and more. Anyways, yeah, I mean, that's
Cool.
it, really. That's it for our show. Thank you so much for either listening and or watching. If you were not watching live, you can always watch us live. We're on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. The one to go to, though, in my opinion, is twitch.tv/totallytellme. Easy to remember as well. So follow us there if you want to watch future episodes live. I would say usually we go live every 2 Sundays at 7 p.m. Though right now we're kind of the schedule might be shifting a little bit, especially as we approach the July 6th due date. Oh, July 8th due date.
Yeah, that's a very kind of semi-arbitrary date, though. I mean, it's
Sure.
like very rarely does the baby get born on the like due date or whatever. So
Right.
he can be born 2 weeks before or after, anytime 2 weeks before or after.
So Laura, when's our next
yeah.
episode? Are we doing the 13th or the 27th?
Let's shoot for.
This is our new thing. I think we've done this on the past 3 episodes. We live decide when our next episode's going to be.
Let's go for the 27th, honestly, because
Okay.
yeah,
So
the 13th could be tough.
yeah, and 20th is Father's Day, so we unfortunately will not be doing that because I
Correct.
have a prior engagement with my
The
father.
father.
So June 27th will be our next episode. So follow us on Instagram to know what movie we'll be doing. We always announce it a few days before, at least. And we will probably have a guest for that one, live or virtual. It's unclear, but you can always count on me and Laura, and perhaps.
Kinda.
Yeah, I guess that's actually entirely not true. You cannot count on
Well,
us
I mean,
to be on time or
For
to
the
even be on the
episode to
same
work.
day, or for it to work, or or to be consistently every 2 weeks. I mean,
No, I mean-
there's very little you can count on actually. But you can count on us to be here
Eventually.
eventually. Anyways, that's gonna do it for us. Any final words, Laura?
More fun segments coming soon.
Yeah,
Stick around for that.
You know what? Don't count on it, but we might try something next episode.
We might try something.
We might, but also maybe we won't.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
No, we will though.
But the only way you will know is if you tune in. So.
But if we do the fun segment, then you have to come back over here to shoot the episode to my house.
That is true.
I prefer that.
Of course. Probably that will happen.
Oh, good. Good.
And maybe sometime you could come over to my house. But
I came to your house last. I mean, before this.
I guess that's true.
Well,
that was like an off-air hang, though.
Well,
you know,
I still drove out there.
That's gonna do it for us at Totally Tell Me. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see all y'all soon.
All right, guys. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.